no balls and one strike, and we are underway at 1:02 p.m. Eastern Time as Drugmuller is in the circle. She was the losing pitcher last night, gave up 7 runs on 9 hits through 4 innings. Torres at the plate. Torres on the season hitting .426 through 30 games, all starts, 6 home runs and 25 runs batted in. Bouncing ball to short. Gold is there, and close play. Got her in time by half a step, and there's one away in the Florida State first.
Yeah, for this Florida State offense, it is going to be key to get runners on, get them over, get them in with the power that they have up and down this lineup. Issa Torres at the top of this lineup is dynamic. Duke is lucky to get her out. 8 players recorded at least 1 hit last night, so just depth 1 through 9 for the Seminoles.
Jay Sonny Beecham at the plate, number 2 hitter, and takes a called strike. No balls and 1 strike to Beecham. Hitting .396 for the year. She has started every game she's played. 31 starts, 9 home runs, 28 RBIs for the year. Outside, counting it up, 1 ball, 1 strike on Beecham. 5'3" sophomore at the plate from Tallahassee, Florida. Last night of the game, 1 for 4 with a double and drove in 3 runs. 1-1 chopped foul, third base side, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Jason Beecham, one of the sophomores on this program that is absolutely incredible. Freshman of the year last year, such a powerful bat in this lineup, great eye, great plate discipline, such a dangerous hitter.
1-2 outside, and the count is even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So game 1 of the series went to Florida State last night. 12-4 in 5 innings in a run-ruled game. Today is game 2 of the series, game 3 tomorrow at noon Eastern. 2-2 from Drugmuller, popped up, playable, first baseman Baker dive!
Gets the second out, and I know it's early in this game, Brock, but that is such a huge play to give this Duke team some confidence after last night to get the bat of Beecham out early in this one.
So 2 up and 2 down in the Florida State first. Kennedy Harp at the plate, there's strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to Harp, who's batting .479 for the season, hitting in the 3 spots, 7 home runs and 40 runs batted in. 0-1, checked her swing, and can't even up, 1 ball, 1 strike to Harp, 6-foot sophomore from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Last night, had a good game, 2 for 4 at the plate, scored twice, and drove in 1. 1-1. Called strike, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And that's just a really nice pitch by Danny Drugmuller to use the arm side stuff up and in. She pitched a lot last night. This team has seen her, so she has to change the game plan. Last night working a lot of down and away. This time working in on these Florida State hitters.
They said she just barely checked her swing in time. They appealed at first base, and first base umpire Matthew Dial said no swing. So the count is even up on Harp, 2 balls, 2 strikes, with 2 away here in the first. Off speed, ball 3, and the count is full. What do you like about Drugmuller's game?
I love that she has the ability to hit all 4 quadrants, mix speeds, use the up off speed, use the down off speed, just keep hitters off balance.
Chopper foul down the left side. Still a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 good teams here going at it in the ACC. Florida State 27-5, undefeated in ACC play, 4-0. Duke 21-10, 4-3 in the ACC. And Rain, this is a very competitive conference in the ACC when it comes to softball.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at the last 4 ACC champions, it's been these 2 ball clubs.
Hit to short, Gold over to first in time, got her out 6-3. To end the inning. Florida State goes down in order. 1-2-3 to the bottom of the first we go. Florida State nothing. Duke coming up. Duke in the home half of the first inning. Pitch from Danley, lefty on lefty, and there's ball 1 high. 1 ball, no strikes to Deanna Jennings, hitting .323 this year. No home runs and 7 runs batted in. 1-0 pitch. And A swing and a miss, count even up, 1 ball, 1 strike. Jennings at the plate last night, 2 for 3 in the game, scored 1 run, but Duke lost the game 12-4 in 5 innings. Jennings, 5'6" junior from Houston, hails from the Lone Star State. Here's the 1-1, hit to short. Torres over to first, and ball gets away from the first baseman Ross, throw down to second base, and Jennings is in there safely, and she's in scoring position with nobody out here in the first inning.
Yeah, Deanna Jennings has been hot, but
And Vega takes ball 1 ball, no strikes. Vega hitting .406 for the season, 31 games played, all starts, 3 home runs and 23 runs batted in. Danley's 1-0 pitch. Oh, beautiful off-speed pitch from Danley. The count even up, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, and for this Duke offense, they have to capitalize in these moments. 7 for 46 in the last 5 games with runners in scoring position. They're doing half of the battle. They're getting runners on, they're moving them over, but they have to capitalize when they have these opportunities.
Vega fouls it away. Vega 0 for 3 in last night's game 1 of the series. Struck out once. 5'7" junior from DeBary, Florida. You have Jennings over at second base. In scoring position, like you said, Rain, got to take advantage of these opportunities. In scoring position and nobody out in the inning. Danley's 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike. The shortstop in there. A little check swing to third. Beecham over to first in time for out number 2. So 1 pitch and second out of the inning recorded by the Florida State defense. 1 on 2 outs here, no score here in the first.
Yeah, just another well-executed pitch out there by Ashton Danley, working the speeds early and often. But we mentioned the runners in scoring position, the low average, but 1 for 9 in game 1 of the series. And you look back at that game, there was plenty of opportunities for Duke to bounce back. But I also look at the Florida State defense and how they've really dug their heels in tight moments.
You saw the batting order for Duke. Up next is the cleanup hitter, Amaya Burgess, and she takes strike 1, no balls and 1 strike. Burgess for the season hitting .301, 1 home run and 12 RBIs for the year. We talked a little bit about, ball gets away from the catcher, throw down to third, and sliding in safely is Jennings. 1 base away from scoring the first run of the game.
Striking first in this ball game.
Yeah, she didn't even hesitate. Like you said, great instincts, good speed, got down the line to third base. At the plate, Burgess. And Burgess last night 1 for 3, got a triple in the game and an RBI for Duke at the loss in game 1 last night. 2 balls and 1 strike. Chopper to short, Torres to first in time. And the inning is over. No runs, no hits, an error, 1 left after 1. We have no, and takes strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to Edenfield, hitting .378 for the season, 5 home runs and 29 runs batted in. 5th-year senior, hails from Sneads, Florida, 6'1", 5th-year senior, 0-1. And quickly, Drugmuller is ahead of the count in the circle, 0-2.
Yeah, and that's what Danny Drugmuller has to do against this Florida State offense is attack on the outside parts of the zone.
Goes outside there, and there's ball 1.
Yeah, and that second pitch of the at-bat, I think if I'm Edenfield, I'm happy to take that one. It looked a little bit river, maybe over the chalk, but if I'm Drugmuller, I'm staying there. If I've identified the strike zone and it stays consistent, that's a great pitcher's pitch. Now Edenfield knows she has to attack there.
Edenfield hit on the arm with the next pitch on a 1-2 pitch. Hit on the arm. She has the HBP, and she goes over to first base.
Yeah, and head coach Mercy Young is going to ask the question here if...
For Florida State. Dak hitting .333 for the year, 8 home runs and 24 runs batted in.
And took advantage of a great swing last night for this Florida State Seminoles team. And you look at the 2024 numbers here to this season, and the numbers actually circle are the at-bats. A little bit in and out of the lineup last year. This year has been a starter, and you can see that consistency has paid off. The home run numbers are jumping, the power numbers are jumping, and now you can see Danny Drugmuller 3-0 to Katie Dack, knowing what she's dealing with, and ultimately it just doesn't get easier as you work down this Florida State lineup.
Hitting in the 5 spot as the DP for this team. Here's the 3-0. Swing and a miss. A green light on 3-0, and it's now 3-1. Talked to Lonnie Alameda, the head coach of Florida State, before the game, and she says that Dack has really worked hard this season. The game is slowing down for her this year as a senior compared to a junior, and like you saw in the numbers, a few more at-bats this year, and the numbers are outstanding as usual. Outside ball 4, so Dack walks. That's the first walk issued to Danny Drugmuller for Duke, and there are now 2 on, nobody out here for Florida State in the top of the 2nd inning.
Yeah, and you look at the top left there, and you can see under 2 walks per game, second fewest in the ACC. So that's a good sign if you're Duke. Of course, in this inning, not what you want, especially after you start Edenfield 0-2. That's, as a pitching coach for head coach Marissa Young, going out to talk to her pitcher, that's the one you circle. Can't let that get away. Katie Dack, you gotta kind of bite the corners on. She fights back to get in that at bat, but ultimately it's Dack's eye that allows her to take the free pass. And now, like we've seen all series long and really all year long for this Florida State team, they are knocking on the door in the 2nd.
There you saw Marissa Young, head coach of Duke in her 8th season. And both of these teams, Rain, Florida State and Duke, talk about being road warriors. A lot of road games and a lot of neutral site outings this year for both teams. Neither team has really been at home that much this year.
No, both these head coaches understand the importance of making sure their ball clubs are battle tested. The goal is to be at your best in May, and road tests like this one for Florida State is exactly how you do that.
Little half swing, half bunt attempt here by Janai Kerr for strike 1. You see the schedule this season by location. Florida State, some home, a lot of road and neutral, and Duke the same. Kerr at the plate, batting .339 for the year, 2 home runs and 13 runs batted in.
And Brock, to go back to that point, it's good news for Florida State because even when they play away, the fans still show up for the Seminoles.
Yeah.
Even last night, the Seminole fans were very loud.
A bunt that gets through the infield for a base hit. Scoring from second is Edenfield. Dack rounds third, stays there. Run scores for Florida State, and the Seminoles are on the board. 1-0 in the 2nd inning.
And this is the chaos that short game can play on a defense. Janai Kerr showing bunt early in the count. Florida State takes advantage and strikes first in this one, doing it not just with power last night, but now with the wheels, with the short game as well.
Brings up Hallie Waycaser for Florida State, batting in the 7th spot. 1-0 pitch outside, 2 balls, no strikes to Waycaser, hitting .289 for the year, 4 homers and 21 runs batted in. A good start here for Florida State. In the lead here, 1-0 in the top of the 2nd, 2 on in scoring position. Next pitch, line to left field for a base hit. Scoring from third is Dack. 2-0 Florida State in the 2nd inning. And still nobody out.
There. 2 runs up now by Florida State. No signs of stopping. And it looks like head coach Marissa Young might make a change to Cassidy Curd.
So 2-0 already, Florida State in the lead here in the top of the 2nd inning, and a new pitcher comes in here for Duke.
Yeah, and it's going to be the junior Cassidy Curd. We'll talk a lot about what she brings to the table, but I like the move here. And honestly, when we saw the starting lineups, I was surprised we didn't see Cassidy Curd in the starting spot for this ball club, but head coach Marissa Young knows they're going to have to rely on the lefty a lot this year, all year long. And the junior comes in with a lot of experience. Now you look at the ERA, a little bit more inflated than years past, but I also attribute that to the strength of the schedule, which we might talk about a little bit later. The other number I circle here is 24 base on balls to 84 punch-outs in 82 innings pitched. This is a strikeout pitcher with an elite rise ball, the ability to work glove side with a curveball, but the one Achilles heel at the very bottom there is the limited off speed. because she punches it up 66 to 70 miles per hour, she's got the heat. But can she keep hitters off balance without that trusted off-speed pitch? That is the question mark that we will see here today.
Yeah, Coach Marissa Young says she's a power pitcher, works up in the zone, gets a lot of strikeouts, and like you saw in the graphic, throws a fastball, curveball, has been developing an off-speed pitch. And Coach Young said that Curd has brought some new mechanics to her game this year in the pitching circle. Kind of working on her delivery or mechanics, having a good year, as she always does, but inherits a 2-run deficit here for her team, 2-0 Florida State here in the second inning.
Yeah, tough position to be in, but this is exactly the position you want to put your pitchers in. High intensity moments where your team needs you, because again, go back. That's how you prepare for May. That's how you prepare for Oklahoma City in June, is can you work with your backs against the wall against one of the best offenses in the country.
Amaya Ross at the plate. Runners on the corners, nobody out for Florida State. And there's a strike call, strike one. Ross hitting .309 for the year, 2 home runs and 8 runs batted in. This Florida State offense, I mean, the lineup top to bottom, 1 to 9. There really is no bottom in this Seminole lineup.
Yeah, it doesn't get easier. I mean, if you took the 7, 8, 9 in this lineup and you put them 1, 2, 3, it really wouldn't look too strange. And you look at the T1 rankings. I mean, hits, runs, batting average, slugging. They can do it all, and they have done it all so far this year.
Pop up, caught in foul grounds by Jada Baker, the first baseman, and there's one away in the Seminole second inning.
And that's a massive out. Not only for the confidence of Cassidy Curd, but also to just get an out on the board. A lot of softball left, but you're sitting with runners in scoring position, nobody out, and Florida State is as aggressive as they are. It can be uncomfortable, so huge out there for Duke here in the top of the second.
Ashton Danley, the starting pitcher for Florida State, hitting for herself, hitting in the 9 spot. Danley batting .378 for the season, no homers, 5 runs batted in. Throw down to second base, and not a double steal attempt. Instead, a clean steal at second base by Waycaser, so she is in scoring position as
You
it.
don't want to let that ball get all the way through and give up another run to Janai Kerr. Likely that's the conversation with associate head coach Taylor White for Duke, coming out during that pitching change to decide that. Ultimately, Florida State 2 within striking distance.
2-1, a swing and a miss. No, they say foul tipped. Foul tipped at the plate. Back to the screen, count even up, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Danley at the plate, 5'7" sophomore from Winchester, Tennessee. And the infield playing in here in the top of the second inning, 2-0 Seminoles in the lead. Little lefty on lefty, 2-2 from Curd. Swing and a miss for
Curd's bread and butter is the movement up. There shows them a couple of drop balls and gets the first punch out of the day for Cassidy Curd. A massive out. I mean, now 2 outs. You're 1 swing away from getting out of this inning. But of course, you got to deal with Issa Torres, which is a difficult feat.
Yeah, back to the top of the order. She had a great game last night, did Torres. Went 2 for 3, scored 3 runs, had an RBI as well. Hit to short, Gold is there over to first, and barely keeping her toe on the bag was Baker at first to win the inning. But Florida State scores 2 runs. The second, the number 5 hitter in the lineup, and takes a called strike. No balls and 1 strike to Mathis, hitting .321 for the year. 3 home runs and 19 RBIs. Danley's 0-1 from the lefty. Oh, beautiful off-speed pitch, a changeup, and just like that, Mathis down to the count. 0-2, went 0 for 3 last night in game 1 of the series. Did have an RBI. 5'8" junior from Westchester, Ohio at the plate. Here's the 0-2. Check swing.
And if she can continue to locate that off-speed pitch, she's going to have a lot of success today.
Tessa Malau-Ulu, the third baseman. Newcomer to the team, steps into the batter's box for Duke, and the pitch. Up and away, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Malau-Ulu, who's hitting .305 for the year, 2 homers and 11 runs batted in. Last night she went 1 for 2 at the plate, scored a run in game 1 of the series, which was won by Florida State. There's a strike. Counting it up, 1 ball and 1 strike. And Rain Malauulu, a transfer from UCLA, and a nice pickup at the portal here for Marissa Young and Duke.
Yeah, and she brings so much more than just stats and the ability to play third base really well and see pitches really well, but a leadership presence for this team.
Pop up to center field as Harp is there, and that's the second out of the inning. Yeah, they moved, like you said, moved Anna Gold from third to short. They bring in Malauulu, and that left side of the infield for Duke is really solid here this year.
Yeah, the entire defense for Duke has looked really, really good. It's been the offensive struggles that I think have hurt them, especially as of late. We saw that stat for runners in scoring position and their inability to cash in on those opportunities, but a lot of softball left, and we've not to hit on this one more time, but I'm going to. The goal is to play your best softball late in the year, and games like this against opponents like this is where you learn who you are and you grow. You grow through adversity, and this Duke team is doing just that.
Up to the plate is Kyrie Rodriguez. She is batting .272 for the year, 31 games played, all starts, 3 home runs, 18 RBIs in the year. Had a tough night last night, 0 for 3, struck out twice. No strikes. That was at 64 miles an hour.
And this is one, if you're Ashton Danley, you just got to attack. And it's easy to say that, easy to say just throw strikes, but 3-0, 2 outs, bottom part of this order, you have to collect out. Jada Baker at the bottom part of this order provided just that last night.
Yeah, Baker hitting .234 for the year, 2 homers, 8 RBIs, 5'4" junior from redshirt junior from Longwood, Florida. Had the big home run last night, had 2 hits in the game, had 2 RBIs. Good offensive display last night in game 1 of the series here in Durham. The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. What do you like in what you've seen in Danley in the circle so far?
I mean, the off speed has just been nasty, and actually said earlier that looked 55, but she started seeing the radar at around 48, and just so hard to balance the drop ball at 65 with the changeup at 45, and then another off speed that she throws in the mid-50s.
Hit to the left side, through the left side for a base hit as Torres couldn't get a glove on it. It goes in the left, and Baker is on it first.
Tough hop, not a characteristic, I would say, miscue from Issa Torres. I'm giving Jada Baker a hit, but I think if you ask Issa Torres, she would say, I can make that play 9 times out of 10. That might be number 10.
Yeah, the scoreboard operators gave her a base hit, so that's the first hit of the game officially for Duke. At the plate, the number 9 hitter of the lineup, Brooklyn Thomas, right fielder. She is batting .133 for the year, 1 homer, 7 RBIs for the season. Counting it up, 1 ball, 1 strike. But there are 2 outs in the inning. Runners at second and first. Rodriguez at second, and Baker is at first. Can Duke try and cut this 2-run deficit in half? It can do so with a potential base hit here. There's ball 2. That was a 49-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch.
Yeah, Ashton Danley's ability to mix 3 different speeds and manipulate it has really kept these Duke hitters off balance when she's had command. Last couple of batters getting behind, which opens up the opportunity to pick a pitch for Duke.
Outside, ball 3, 3 balls and 1 strike.
And here is where, if you're Ashton Danley, this is where you have to attack. We know we keep saying that, but this part of the order, Brooklyn Thomas not having the year that she'd like, batting .134. So you cannot turn this lineup over.
Down the right field line, foul by just a couple of feet. That potentially could have.
But ultimately now 3-2, runners will be in motion. So if Brooklyn Thomas can get a ball out into the green, likely going to score 1, possibly 2.
Up the middle, through for a base hit. Rounding third, heading on home is Rodriguez. Here's the throw, it's cut off, and Duke is on the board. Cuts that 2-run deficit in half. 2-1 Florida State here in the second inning. How about the clutch 2-out hitting and timely hitting here by Duke?
Yeah, 1 for 12 in these positions coming into this ball game. And it is the freshmen again with their backs against the wall with 2 outs that makes magic happen for this Duke team. What a job by Brooklyn Thomas to adjust at bat to at bat, adjust throughout the count, know what she's getting, and then take a pitch up the middle. Duke is on the board.
So Duke cuts the 2-run deficit in half. It's now 2-1 Florida State. Top of the order up there, Deanna Jennings. As Jennings takes ball 1 ball, no strikes. And Jennings in the first inning, 0 for 1, reached on an error in the first. 1-0 pitch downstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. How critical do you think it is for Duke to really capitalize here against quality pitching like Danley here early in the game?
I think it's massive, and I think it's a really well-timed meeting for head coach Lonnie Alameda. Started out really solid through the first 9 for Ashton Danley. Then towards the bottom half of the lineup, started getting behind in counts. And what that does is it allows the offense to move and just pick a pitch when you're up 2-1, 3-1. Now, the ball-to-strike ratio is almost even, and that's never really a good sign. You, of course, always want the strikes to outnumber the balls. And I think this is a greatly timed meeting for head coach Lonnie Alameda to stop the rhythm of this Duke offense. But to your point, to your question, Brock, it is critical because the staff that Florida State has. I imagine the leash is not super long with Ashton Danley in the circle, knowing who they have in the bullpen. But again, head coach Alameda wants her players to be in these situations, to grow through adversity and respond with their backs against the wall.
So Lonnie Alameda, the head coach of Florida State, just took a trip to the circle to talk to her pitcher Danley in her 17th season now as the head coach of Florida State. 7 ACC regular season titles, 9 ACC tournament titles, over 700 career wins at Florida State, and over 900 in her illustrious coaching career. You and I talked to her before the game, and all she does is win.
All she does is win. Even going back to when I was a camper at her camps in Tallahassee, just the words she says, the wisdom that she shares, if I could just soak it in, I would. She is an incredible coach, incredible leader.
Hit to short. Torres over to first. Not in time, everyone. Vega swings and fouls it away for strike 1. Vega 0 for 1, struck out against Danley in her first trip to the plate back in the first inning.
Yeah, and they've kept Amina Vega off the base path for the most part. Kept her over so far in this series. She's the player you circle. We will not let her beat us, and is getting a steady diet of off-speed pitches.
0-1 popped up. Shallow center. Harp is there, makes the catch. The inning is over, but Duke scores 1 run in the frame, leaves 3 on base after